Mayor, I've just been out in the market. Most of the people I talked to said it's a really heated local political contest. How's the campaign so far?
The campaign so far has been good. My house to house has been very good. I've had a very good reaction from the people. But there are elements about this election which are not good. Okay, and just let me begin by saying that I was surprised that I ended up by being challenged the second time, because I was challenged in 2022, and here we are with the situation repeating itself again. And because after the 2022 election in which I was challenged, I still prevailed. And after that, my relationship with the first family, with my relatives, was relatively good. And I would be invited to Malacañang, I would attend Noche Buena, and everything was basically okay. And then when things began to go wrong was during the barangay election, because I had my candidates. Siyempre, as the incumbent mayor, I have my candidates. But the first district also had their own candidates. So I reached out to Sandro, I reached out to R.B. Ablan, I reached out to Ryan Remigio, and I talked to them and I said, let's work together. Let's not make banggaan. You know, we have our separate candidates. Let's join forces and work everything out. At first, they said yes. Later on, when I tried to continually reach out, there was no response. So I ended up by moving on my own. They ended up by moving on their own. And what was very surprising was that there are 80 barangays in Laoag. Out of the 80 barangays, approximately 70 incumbent barangay captains lost because of the massive resources that the first district had. And it was a huge change. That has never happened before in an election where virtually all the incumbent barangay captains have lost. Okay? And what it was a prelude to this election, that they were getting rid of capitanes who were basically Fariñas capitanes and putting in their own capitanes as a prelude and a preparation for this election. Because now we find that I have a problem with many of the incumbent capitanes. Okay, so it was like a coup d'etat in preparation for the coup d'etat now. So I've been very disappointed at the way things have evolved. And honestly, I find the manner in which this campaign is being generated by the first district and by the Capitolio to be shameful.
Mayor, when you speak of these experiences and incidents, you attribute it to the first district and the capital. Both are your nephews.
Both of them are my kaanakan. Yes, yes.
Do you not speak to them directly to ask?
Please understand that in 2019, when I ran, I was supported by the family. Later on, we had a falling out. In 2022, my relationship with my kaanakans broke down. So much so that the governor had a press conference and said, "Good riddance" to me, only to be the very first person to congratulate me when I won. He texted me at 1:30 in the morning and congratulated me, and I thought, this behavior is so erratic. You said good riddance, and now you're the first person to congratulate me. And it's happening again. My relationship is good, and then it eventually deteriorates because there's a false narrative created about me, which was done in 2022 and which they're doing again, and which is hard to understand considering that Laoag is really doing very well. This is why. So when they challenge me, they don't just challenge me, MMK, they challenge what we refer to as Team Laoag. My kalaban is Team Marcos. We're Team Laoag, okay? Please understand that my relationship with the family goes way back to the time of the Apo. It goes way back to President Ferdinand Edrelin Marcos, whom I served in my capacity as the executive director of Gintong Alay and later as the president of the Philippine Olympic Committee. I became very close to the Apo and I had a very, very good relationship with him. Please understand that because of what's happening, many people are telling me, oh, you should drop your middle name. You should not call yourself Michael Marcos Keon. And I tell them the reason I keep my Marcos is because of my relationship to the Apo and the fact that my mother, who was the younger sister of the Apo, was the incumbent governor of Ilocos Norte from 1971 hanggang 1983 and served the province very well. And it's so strange because when BBM, when the incumbent president came back from exile with the rest of the Marcos family in 1997, I came back from Australia also around that time. BBM asked me to join him here in the province, which I did, and I put together the sports development program in the province, but he was the one who later asked me to run as a provincial board member, which I did. And subsequently, I became their choice for governor. And I believe I did a good job. And then over a period of time, things fell apart. People have accused me of being matigas ang ulo. They've accused me of being argumentative. The fact of the matter is that I speak my mind. And I try and be as coherent and as direct as possible. Of course, I'm diplomatic when you need to be diplomatic. But the fact of the matter is, I call a spade a spade. And maybe they didn't like the fact that I was a little blunt in the way I expressed myself. But that's it. Please understand that people accuse me of shouting a lot, which I have a tendency to do, but that's all I do. I never hurt people. I've never physically had people beaten up. I don't beat people up. I don't destroy people. I don't malign people. And I don't do things of an extrajudicial nature. Okay? People should understand this. And people should understand that I have served the family for so long, but things fell apart over a period of time. And this false narrative is created about me. But I also feel that it's not only about getting rid of me. Please understand, Leon, that there's so much development in Laoag now. Now we're talking about billions of pesos of investment in Laoag, meaning that Laoag is progresivo, it's prospering. I think that's another reason why people want to get hold of Laoag. Because please understand, I am the only mayor who's not a contractor. Buong provincia. I'm not a businessman. I don't think about accumulating money per se. To me, money is simply a tool for achieving things. And I'm not consumed with the thought of making money. I come from a broken family. So I learned to fend for myself at a very early age. So I became independent at a very early age. And I know how to traverse, I know how to traverse the universe and my life on my own. People don't have to tell me what to do. I know what to do. Maybe people get medyo a bit funny with me because I tend to be very independent. And I have my own mind. And people accuse me of being matigas ang ulo. But I am because I have principio and because I believe that things should be done in a certain way. That's it.
Mayor, from an outsider's point of view, parang kayo ni Vice Mayor Carlos Perinas, yung opposition. Are you comfortable with being described as an opposition? Kasi kayo lang yung hindi.
Yeah, no. Leon, please understand, I grew up as an athlete. An athlete has an opponent. An athlete has kalaban. Okay? When you compete against an opposition. Somebody opposes you. It doesn't matter. I grew up struggling, and I grew up as an athlete. And as an athlete, you engage in competition, you win, you lose. It's fine with me. They call me opposition, fine. In fact, I have a good relationship with the vice mayor. This is one of the other issues, especially that Aukailian question, that I have a good relationship with the Sangguniang Panlunsod. And because of that, the running of Laoag has been very good. We've been able to handle things very well. We get our resolutions approved quickly, everything works out. We're able to implement everything. And because of that, things have moved very, very well. So once again, it begs the question, so why challenge us? You know, it's good that I'm working well with the Fariñases. Please understand, the Fariñases grew up here, okay? And they're part of the landscape. And the fact that I can work with them is good.
Mayor, I saw you join the House campaign of the Kiko Bam volunteers. You posted it on Facebook. The opposition bloc is the same bloc that's been heavily criticizing the legacy of your uncle. How do you reconcile it, lalo na sa mga supporters?
Please understand this. I became very close to my uncle, and I think that's one of the factors that also my relatives get a bit jealous about. That I would eat with the president, we would talk, I would communicate with the president. Because I trained athletes in Baguio, whenever the president came to Baguio, I would see him in Baguio. And he was very happy with the way I ran things, and he treated me with a great deal of respect. Now, I know certain things about him that other people don't know about. And honestly speaking, I salute the Apo. The first years of martial law were good. Things began to deteriorate when his health deteriorated, and then he handed some authority and some power to the people around him because he couldn't handle everything himself. That's when things deteriorated. President Marcos was a great leader in my view. It's just that the people around him, in a way, brought him down. He didn't bring himself down. His health brought himself down. And then he had to allocate doing certain things to people around him, and they didn't have his utak, the way he would maneuver. They couldn't maneuver the way he did. And that's when things began to go wrong.
So campaigning against the with the national opposition like Kiko and...
No, they've just come here and they're campaigning here, and they just paid a courtesy call to me. But I'm also supporting them because I also feel that they have good things to inculcate into our society. Look, please understand, the Marcoses are not perfect. No one is perfect. I'm not perfect. The Aquinos aren't perfect. GMA wasn't perfect. Erap Estrada wasn't perfect. No political leader is perfect. Some are better than others, okay? And you look for the best combination. And there are things about the national government that I also don't particularly agree with.
Right now, the national government right now.
Yes, there are certain things that I don't agree with it. Be that as it may, please understand that BBM is my first-degree cousin, and I respect him, okay? But having said that, I'm extremely disappointed that he has allowed his son and that Amy has allowed her son to do what they're doing to us. And this is why what's happened now has really severely disappointed many, many people, that I should be treated in this manner like I'm talagang kalaban. Not that I don't even have a shred of Marcos blood in me. Okay, it's sad.
Sad, not hurt.
Well, they've hurt me so many times that I've sort of got this immunity. I'm sort of immune to the fact that they've hurt me so many times because they did it in 2022, but now it's mas grabe the way they're doing it. And I'm very saddened that I have to go through this. But, come what may, I've stood my ground.